Walter Reed Medical is kind of having a real one out here today. They just gave Joe Biden, he went in for his yearly physical, and don't worry guys, everything right as rain. Not a single thing wrong with the 80-year-old who can't even get to the end of the sentence before he gets distracted by an errant 12-year-old walking around the stage thinking that, I wonder if she uses L'Oreal No More Tears. I'll sure give her some tears. That's the situation that you have coming out of that place. Why would you believe anything that they're doing? But hey man, I'm not wishing ill health on Biden. Of course not. He's 80 years old. He shouldn't be anywhere near any of the levers of power, especially of the free world after all. But given the fact that we're in the situation that we're in right now, well, more to be gleamed with reconciling with reality than, well, pondering about what's next, because hey, he's here to stay for, unfortunately, another 18 months. But, oh no, Christ, it's a little bit longer than that. 23 months, right? Jeez. Don't want to sell him short, but the next election cycle is going to be coming up very, very shortly, especially with Nikki Haley announcing her ill-fated presidential run. First one in the pool, first one out. Kamala Harris of the right, if I've ever seen it before. But you'll be seeing more Trump attacks, more fluff pieces trying to prop up and trying to get Ron DeSantis thrown into the race. You'll see the media coverage go away from any of Biden's failings, like him rejecting, check this one out, rejecting sending any more additional federal services over to East Palestine, Ohio, where the train derailment happened, and when there's literal oil slicks appearing on everything that has water in it, as well as farm animals just dropping dead. Nothing to see here, folks. Continue to mill about your day. I wonder what Harry and Meghan are up to. Just, just nice little dances, just nice little distractions. Yes, bread and circuses for all, right? But let's peek this. A clean bill of health for old 2 times brain aneurysm survivor Joe Biden is a healthy and vigorous 80-year-old. Yeah, you see him. I like to do the jog every once in a while. I'm all good and ready to address you. I'll get around to it, but then I'll just leave before anybody asks me any questions. Who can successfully execute his duties so he doesn't have to wear a diaper. His doctor says lesions on his chest sent for cancer testing after latest physical. Yo, wait, what? Well, I hope that there's nothing bad there, or are they going to be using that as a pull in case of an emergency button? You don't pull a button, you pull a cord. Anyways, President Joe Biden is a healthy and vigorous 80 years old. Those are 2 descriptors I would never afford to an 80-year-old unless it's Lee Majors. But he's apparently fit for office, I guess. His doctor said after his annual physical on Thursday at Walter Reed. White House physician Colonel Kevin O'Connor provided an update on his health amid concerns over his age as he prepares to announce a 2024 run for president, right? I'd like to announce my candidacy for Senate in 2024. I come from Delaware. Either that or president. I don't know. They haven't told me what I'm doing yet. The results were largely unchanged from his last aside from a lesion on his chest that had been sent for cancer screening. I genuinely hope that there's nothing wrong with that at all. That it's just some benign growth that's on his chest. He's a terrible president and a very disingenuous individual, but don't wish any ill will on him like that. O'Connor said Biden's gait remains stiff. Yeah, he moves like a cardboard cutout. He's an awkward guy to watch, but insists it's not worsened since last year. It hasn't gotten worse, so that just means that he's perfectly fine. But like I said, it's a big L day when it comes to Walter Reed's staff, because they also had another recent visitor. That'd be big old Frankenstein from Pennsylvania. And Senator John Fetterman, released from hospital after doctors rule out a new stroke. Sorry, what? Yeah, this guy's been down bad since before day 1. Day negative 85. This guy's just been a blubbering, blundering disaster. And if the Rhino establishment would have funded literally any other candidate, there might have been an opportunity to overcome the mountain stand-in. Like, holy. So this story here. Oh, it's a couple days old. It's about a week old. Senator John Fetterman was discharged from the D.C. hospital Friday evening after doctors ruled out a new stroke, his spokesperson said in a statement. In addition to the CT, CTA, MRI tests ruling out a stroke, Fetterman's EEG tests came back normal with no evidence of seizures. Oh, good. Is that the standard that we have for our elected officials right now? Well, they don't need to bite down on a belt every 15 minutes. So good enough to serve, right? Our best and brightest are in Washington. Lord have mercy. Joe Caveo, Fetterman's communications director, said in a tweet, that guy's working exceptionally hard. Pennsylvania Democrat was taken to George Washington University Hospital after feeling lightheaded towards the end of the Senate Democratic retreat Wednesday, Caveo said earlier this week. Oh, feels very good. This suit is awfully tight. Fetterman suffered a stroke while running for Congress last year, just 2 days before Pennsylvania's primary election. While continuing to recover from his stroke, the left lingering auditory process symptoms, the senator uses he's basically brain damaged, and he's in the Senate, so I guess he's among like-minded individuals. Doctors said in the fall he had no cognitive impairments and could work fully in public office. Fetterman will return to Senate Monday, according to Cabello. So this was George Washington University. George Washington University ran a whole bunch of mental checks on him and all that stuff. Gave him as clean of a bill of health as you can possibly do. And it's kind of strange how this ends up happening then. John Fetterman hospitalized for clinical depression? What are they trying to do here? That's what I want to know. What are they trying to do here? Because I've got a bunch of theories. We'll get through the groundwork. We'll peek the facts here and strap on your tinfoil hats, because I've got some theories of my own. Senator John Fetterman checked himself into the Washington area hospital on February 15th, according to his chief of staff, Adam Gentleson. So he did that yesterday, and we're just hearing about it right now. Interesting. Last night, Senator John Fetterman checked himself into Walter Reed National Military Medical Center to receive treatment for clinical depression. While John has experienced depression on and off throughout his life, it only became severe in recent weeks. When he was lightheaded and he was cleared of any additional strokes. It's almost like this guy's realizing that he's a puppet, or maybe they're just trying to find a nice way of not having to admit to any biological impairments, and they'll just try to shuffle them off. And, well, I'll save that until we get through the facts. On Monday, John was evaluated by Dr. Brian P. Monahan, the attendant physician of the United States Congress. Yesterday, Dr. Monahan recommended inpatient care at Walter Reed. John agreed, and he is receiving treatment on a voluntary basis. After examining John, the directors at Walter Reed told us that John is getting the care that he needs and will soon be back to himself, his medicated, slurring, auditorially impaired self. Holy... The announcement comes a week after Pennsylvania Democrat was discharged from George Washington University Hospital in Washington. Good medical care that you have in Washington, and you want to look after more of it in the United States. Oh, good for you. You want to federalize more of the hospitals. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, during that visit, doctors ruled out stroke, seizure, concern. The freshman Democrat suffered stroke on the campaign trail the weekend before the 2022 primaries. Stroke caused a clot from his heart, being in the atrial fibrillation rhythm for too long, said in a statement at the time. Well, his wife would have said it, in the future senator for Pennsylvania, because this is what this is, okay? He was the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania, so he had a certain pedigree over there, so he was able to win that primary. If it wasn't for the stroke, there probably wouldn't be any concern about this guy. But there was also no concerns of any lingering mental health issues as well. This was always a backdoor in to get little Wednesday or Thursday Adams, if you've seen that flumpy wife of his. She is close personal friends with Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro, the current governor of Pennsylvania, and who would likely appoint a successor, at least in the interim, for John Fetterman if he's disposed for a certain amount of time. They already pushed him across the finish line. Now they'll have to reconcile with reality. Fetterman's speech pattern changed, less confident after the stroke, this is, right? Campaign explained that he had auditory processing issues, but they'll be fine by the time that he's sworn in, trust us, until they weren't. And it's like, you're just being ableist if you don't let him serve. His garbled words dropped words from sentences and needed closed captioning during a political debate. Oh, good evening, good night, everybody. I'm here. I support fracking. I support fracking. I support fracking. Anyways, in recent days, Fetterman often works from prepared remarks. Wow, just like Joe. This week, Fetterman voted to confirm 3 judicial nominees. Shouldn't those be put under some sort of level of reconsideration? I'm just wondering, including Gina R. Mendez Miro of Puerto Rico to be a U.S. District Judge from the District of Puerto Rico, Lindsay C. Jenkins, of Illinois to be U.S. District Judge in the Northern District of Illinois, and Matthew L. Garcia of New Mexico for the District of New Mexico. All right. He also voted to advance the nomination of Adriana C. Nelson. Oh, no, there is one dude. One dude. Great. Wonderful. Fantastic. Of Oregon to be the U.S. District Judge for the District of Oregon. Judge Cindy Chung for the U.S. Third Circuit Court of Appeals, which covers all of Pennsylvania. Isn't that a little bit of a conflict of interest? But that's all fine, well, and dandy. But being hospitalized for clinical depression, that's very interesting. I truly think that this is a multi-pronged op. The only prop is Fetterman himself, but this is just an opportunity to really entrench the whole narrative that, oh my God, being a Fed is just so difficult, guys. Like, the guy who's valiantly battled depression in his past, just don't ask for any records or anything like that, finally gets to Washington, and then after all of the belittling that the media affords him, he just gets thrown into into inpatient care because he just can't take all of your mean comments. Don't pay any attention to the fact that he's operating at like 40% capacity. They wanted to win that Senate seat in Pennsylvania. He was the best candidate available. The Republicans ran a dud. And now they can just backdoor in the crazy socialist wife of this guy who has connections to Shapiro, and he can just go live out his days drooling on the front porch. They'll mention he's the one who has brain damage, but they won't talk about the old man who's got to make novelty jogs wherever he goes. Bro, everybody can see it. Anybody who's had dementia in their family knows the signs when they see it. Like, Christ almighty, like, you just got the announcement earlier today, which is just kind of sad in and of itself, that Bruce Willis's family announces he has dementia. Last year, he had to retire from aphasia. That's always the precursor. He's only 67, and I understand not everything's on the same timeline, but Joe, in the past, 20 years, has had two brain aneurysms, and they have the audacity to claim that he also underwent a neurological exam and found nothing consistent with any cerebral or central neurological disorder. Everything's fine, everything's wonderful until we don't, until we have need for something to be an issue, and we have the opportunity to just really tell you that mental health is a big problem, and see if he can even take down somebody who's 6'8", 300 pounds, and at a debilitated 60 IQ. It can affect literally anybody, guys, so you need to stop being so mean to elected officials. I wish both of these guys, actually all 3 of them, Bruce Willis included, nothing but the best. I don't wish illness of any form or fashion, even as made up as the whole depression shit is. Like, bro, I don't buy that clinical depression nonsense for a second for Fetterman. There are legitimate mental problems that are out there. Bruce Willis is facing a legitimate mental health issue, dementia. Biden needs to reconcile with that. But stop putting these people that are obviously sick right in front of our faces, seeing how much we can tolerate. Bro, we've been lampooning this dork for what? Even before he ascended to the presidency. You could see that Joe Biden wasn't all there during the final few years of his vice presidency. And that was what, just about a decade ago? Stop lying to us. Stop lying to us on a long enough time frame where we might actually take your concerns, your clean bills of health seriously. And then also just stop having such a clean succession plan that we can figure out that, yeah, you're probably only telling us half the story. So, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.